Hello traders and welcome to Forex Friday. It's Stu Naupan here, founder of Master the Markets, Illustrates Conference and the Traders Open Day. So here we are on our weekly update. Okay, so now today in this video I'm going to be covering just a topic of one of these trades that we got at the moment, which is a counter trend trade. Okay, a counter trend trade on the Aussie dollar is what we have identified, and the trade details are as below. Okay, so now how do we actually trade counter trend? Because I know some traders, over the 20,000 traders that we have coached and mentored and we have met at various conferences over the world and all our workshops that we have done, is that a lot of people struggle and they want to trade counter trend, but they're not sure how. And some of them, when they even do it, they do it so poorly that they give back all their profits. As it is, I mean, a lot of people find it hard to trade trend based strategies. So, how do you then do counter trend trades? Okay, so how do you do that? Now, first rule, traders, right? First rule is that when you're looking at counter trend trades, do remember it is only counter trend. It is only counter trend on only one time frame. Okay, on only one time frame. Okay. First of all, let's define what is counter trend. Okay, let's get this clear first. Now, the time frame that you're trading on, okay, the time frame that you're going to take the trade on, let's even be more specific. The time frame that you're going to take the trade on, if it is going against a trend, okay, so for example, in this example here, as you saw in the order that I just placed, you can see over here that actually we are going what? Long, isn't it? We're having a buy stop order in the market. Now, in terms of that, traders, as you can see, so if I'm going long, that means if I'm buying in a downtrend, okay, when the market is going down and I'm buying when it's going down, of course that is a counter trend because I'm going against the wave, isn't it not? So that is what we call a counter trend trade. All right, so the counter trend trade, remember, here's the critical point, that is always in relation to the time frame that you're going to trade on. Okay, so your position, what you're going to take against the trend. So position, okay, position against the trend. Okay, so if, as I've already explained, so if you're going long against a downtrend, you are in a counter trend trade. Okay, so that's my first point, what I'm mentioning here. So the first thing is, in a counter trend trade, always to remember it's got to be counter trend on the time frame that you're trading on. The second thing, however, we only will take a counter trend trade according to that particular time frame. Let's say it's a daily time frame, as in this example here, as you can see, it's a daily time frame. The second thing that I look for, traders, is that I will only take the counter trend trade on the time frame that I'm trading on only if it is, the first criteria is, if the higher time frame is in trend. Okay, higher time frame is in trend. So if you actually think about it, all I'm looking at is, if you got a ripple, yeah, and then if you got a wave, the wave is coming down, but then suddenly I've got the ripple which is going against it, right? Now let me just draw this once again. So let's say you've got, I think the best thing is with tide and the wave. So let's use tide and the wave now. So tide, let's say the wave, right? Let's say the wave is going down, right? But the tide, let's say it's going to go up after it's done its retracement. You can see already it's starting to go up. And you can start to see that this wave that has gone down is showing signals to go up as well, but you always align it with the higher time frame, or the wave, or as the tide, as we may call it, because tide is bigger than the wave and the wave is bigger than the ripple. Understand? So that's what we are looking for here. So we're looking for this trend to change its direction according to the higher time frame trend. Okay, so let me show you an example here. So let me just erase this away. So then you can see that on the weekly, let's take a look, right? On the weekly, it's a uptrend, is it not? It's an uptrend. You can see that, right? Over here, look. So it's an uptrend. So on the daily time frame, as we can see, it's a downtrend. But on the weekly, it's a uptrend. Okay, right. So now your critical aim is you want to take a trade according to the higher time frame. So therefore, you need to now know and figure out and put your parameters in to find out when that downtrend on the daily time frame is going to end and turn. So you're looking for turning signals, okay, and high probability turning points, HPTP, high probability turning points, is what you are looking for, traders, okay? Right. So that's the things that we then do. And then finally, once this two has matched up, right, is actually a mismatch because one is downtrend, one is other one is an uptrend. And then finally, then you decide where you want to take a trade setup on. Is it going to be on the daily time frame, the lower time frame, or are you going to even enter even more lower than that on a 4 hour or 1 hour? Okay, so that's your choice. You can either trade it on the time frame that you are going to be trading on, okay, or you can have an early entry on a shorter time frame. Okay, so these are the three things, or early entry, okay, on even a lower time frame, okay, like a 4 hour or a 1 hour, okay, or it can even be the just that daily itself. Once you have entered on the 4 hour 1 hour, then you can revert back to the daily and trade manage on the daily. That's another way of doing it as well. All right, all this you have to align it with your concept and your objective of your strategy as well. Okay, so that's that on how to trade counter trend. So if I were to just recap that first, the first point about counter trend trades is that only take it on the counter trend has got to be a counter trend based on one time frame. Okay, based on one time frame, only one time frame, the counter trend, is it not? It's based on one time frame. The second thing is that a higher time frame has got to be in trend. And finally is your early entry. Early entry based on any of the lower time frames. Okay, it can either be a daily, it can be a 4 hour, it can be a 1 hour. Okay, you got to decide. Finally, your trade management can be based on the daily time frame to be safe. Good. So that covers my topic for today on Forex Friday on how do you trade counter trend. All right. Now, in terms of positions for this week, we've been net flat. There has been no particular trades at all on our elite journals, elite strategies, and ultimate advanced strategies. They've all been flat. So if you take a look at that, so November, no particular trade. Only last one was on 6th November, which we closed out. But this week is basically we can see that it's basically there's no much trades. On 6th November, there was very small loss that we took for this week, minus 0.07%. That's how our trend-based strategies are. They are very fast in exiting, and the ones that run, we let them run. Okay, swing profits on system-wise, yes, we did take a dollar Swiss as well trade on this particular strategy. We had a minus 0.7% loss on this. And basically, what else? Now let's see. Smart money counter trend, no trades. Smart money system, you already went through. Money boss, 1st November it was when we closed it, so no particular trades on that for this week. So the only two trades that we really had, very small trades which went against us, was basically smart money, which we closed on the 6th November for minus 0.07% on the elite strategy. And the other one was basically the smart swing profits, right? Swing profits on minus 0.74 minus 0.74. Okay, is what we had on that particular trade. So altogether, just write down very minute, minus 0.81. Okay, minus 0.81% is what we are down for this week. But do remember, this is the whole point of the game, right? Keep your losses really, really tight and small. Okay, that's what we want to do, because when the big runners come, then they can override them really, really fast. All right. Okay, good. So that's that. On our LTM, our LTR room, we have there's been no trades at all basically, as far as I can see. Let me just quickly just take a look at that. Okay, traders. So as you can see in our LTR room, you can see that again we did take the euro yen as well. That is also very small, minus 0.08%. Okay. Other than that, no trades on basically the money bar system or the money bars cash. All right. So I guess that concludes that in terms of our analysis. But the last point I just remembered, what I do want to tell you guys is that do remember that you always must know your stats. You see, our elite strategy system, we have it all tracked in terms of month by month as well. Okay, you see, what I would just want you to observe is that firstly the drawdowns is very, very critical. That we must know our drawdowns as well. They're very tight over here. The losses are very, very small. But also, what you want to notice as well is that you see, when the profits come, they cluster around a certain few months. Look at that. 9.45, 11.33. This was a big one here. 17.75 minus 0.26. And then we had a very big month in basically May, 32.88%. Okay. Now, this is what I want you all to observe, which is towards the end of the year, you can see that the profits are very, very small and minute, and the losses are very small as well. Okay, so it all depends on your portfolio selection. Not only that, it also depends on the strategy combination that you have as well. These are all volatility based strategies. So, on months when there's high volatility, then you will see a big cluster over there. Also, very, very highly dependent on the instruments you are trading as well. So, look at that and see how you want to also base your strategies and also diversify your portfolio as well. Okay. So that's what I want to say, because as some traders sometimes come and tell us is that they get a bit concerned because towards the end of the year, sometimes they're not able to make the high profits or whatever. But I always tell them, know your stats well, know where your highest profit months are, know how your strategies perform according to the instruments in the portfolio that you are trading. Okay, so that in real time, you see, you must understand one thing, traders. You see, testing, back testing, and all that, it's done in a much more faster time, because you just press, you just go forward in the screen, right? You don't need to wait through one whole day of 24 hours, and sometimes to get the next best trade you have to wait for 2-3 months sometimes, and in real time your mind can play you out. So this is why you got to be so critical and understand how your strategy and your portfolio actually works, so that you know that you got to be patient, and you also know that only certain months are going to give you the best generating highly profits. I'm not saying only certain months for every portfolio. Of course, all I'm saying, the take home message from all of this is that you must basically know your stats and know how your strategies on the instruments you selected performs. Okay, I guess I've drilled enough the point home. I guess that's pretty much what I want to say. So basically, how to trade counter trend is what we went through in this video, and also diversification of your portfolio and knowing your stats on when your highest profitability months are. Okay, so that's all from me in this video, and as we always say, till the next time, stay disciplined, follow your trading plan, and keep trading like a master.